Artemis stands as one of the most powerful and enduring deities of the Greek pantheon. She represents the untamed spirit of wilderness, the protective instincts of motherhood, and a fierce independence that resonates with many of us. I have spent many years as an environmental educator and wildlife rehabilitator. Artemis speaks to me. Today we are going to explore her wild side, who she was and is, and how we can honor her today. Known as the goddess of the hunt, wild animals, and wilderness, she is also known as the goddess of pregnancy, childbirth, and babies, both human and animal. This may come from her own birth to an ostracized single mother. Artemis is a twin, and her brother is the god Apollo. Apollo is also linked to archery and protection of the young. They often hunted and explored the woods together. Deer, in particular, hold special significance as her sacred animals. Artemis was frequently depicted with a silver bow and quiver filled with arrows, accompanied by a stag or doe. In ancient understanding, hunting was not about domination, but about participation in the natural cycles of life and death, predator and prey, abundance and scarcity. These red deer are native to Greece. As did many indigenous cultures, Artemis taught that taking life required respect, skill, and understanding. The hunt was a sacred act that connected the hunter to the rhythms of nature, requiring patience, observation, and reverence for the animal's sacrifice. This perspective stands in stark contrast to modern industrial approaches to meat production and consumption. I feel drawn to Artemis because of her relationship to nature. She is not merely a goddess who hunts animals, she is the embodiment of the sacred relationship between humans and the natural world. Artemis is complex and multifaceted. Her divine presence speaks to our deepest connections with nature and our own wild selves. I'm going to say this name wrong, so I apologize. In my research, I came across a paper by Spyridon Rangos, a professor at the University of Patras, and found an interview of him. He says, Artemis represents nature, but the kind of nature that is uncontained, disorderly, or the heathen kind of order, not contaminated by human presence and civilization, a kind of nature that is uncultivated. Artemis embodies what is beautiful in the wild and what is dangerous. Her connection with animals extends beyond mere companionship or symbolism. Artemis was a fierce protector of wildlife, ensuring that hunting was done respectfully and sustainably. Ancient Greeks believed that displeasing Artemis by disrespecting nature or harming animals unnecessarily could invoke her wrath, manifesting as misfortune or punishment. Ancient Greek girls serving in her temples were called arktoi, meaning little bears, emphasizing the connection to the bear's maternal fierceness and wild wisdom. These girls, between the ages of 7 and 10, were consecrated to Artemis as little bears and would spend time at the sanctuary, engaging in bear like dances and activities. This ritual was a rite of passage, marking their transition from childhood to womanhood. As a lifelong pagan and wildlife advocate, I want to share with you that you can learn more about Greek wildlife in danger on the Arcturus website. They are an NGO in Greece working to protect the native European brown bears. In addition, anyone wanting to get into wildlife rehabilitation, I have a book on that. Unlike many other deities, Artemis chose to remain a virgin, asking her father Zeus for this gift, along with a silver bow, a pack of hunting hounds, and a band of nymphs to serve as her companions. This choice wasn't about rejection of sexuality, but rather about maintaining her autonomy and connection to the wild. Her virginity represented independence, self determination, and the power to choose her own path. So, what can we do to honor Artemis today? Obviously, the first thing I'm going to say is get outside, but that can be easier said than done. In today's modern world, so many of us live in cities. I have a video called Urban Pagans Thriving Spiritually Amidst the Concrete, where I give ideas on how to connect with nature in the city. Develop a personal relationship with Artemis through nature. I am about a 15-minute bus ride to my local university's arboretum. I always feel close to the goddess here, especially in the spring. Find areas that speak to you. Learn to identify local birds, plants, and animals, understanding their behaviors and needs. Let me know if you need help with that. Meditate on ways you can embody her traits and discover your own gifts. Artemis is widely recognized for her independence and fierce protection of her autonomy. Unlike many Greek goddesses who were often tied romantically to other gods or mortals, Artemis devoted herself to the protection of the wilderness and to women. Artemis is independent and strong, and she helps us to feel that way. Do things to test your personal limits. Call on her to assist you. Practice self-protection and boundary setting in honor of her fierce independence. Artemis teaches that saying no is sacred, that protecting your energy and autonomy serves your highest good and enables you to better serve others. Artemis fiercely defended her autonomy and the well-being of all women. Supporting organizations dedicated to women's rights, healthcare, education, and empowerment pays tribute to her protective and nurturing qualities. Are you an introvert? She formed her identity and knew what she wanted at a young age, and that was to live outside the norm. Know that it is okay to be introverted. Create altars in gardens, on balconies, or in your home. Use natural materials like stone, branches, pine cones, and seasonal flowers. Silver items honor her connection to the moon, while representations of her sacred animals can include photos, figurines, or artwork of deer, bears, or hunting dogs. The key is creating a space that feels wild and alive rather than overly controlled or artificial. I have more on the website article on her correspondences. These are deer that I have rehabilitated and released. Modern devotion to Artemis naturally extends to wildlife conservation and habitat protection. Creating wildlife-friendly gardens with native plants supports her sacred animals and creates habitat corridors, even in urban areas. Artemis was active and loved the outdoors. Engaging in physical activities such as archery, running, yoga, or martial arts can embody her strength and independence. These practices help maintain physical wellness and foster resilience, reflecting Artemis's spirited and robust nature. I've only touched the surface of who is Artemis. In another video, I may explore her relationship with her mother and brother. Her energy supports those seeking to live more consciously, protecting what they love and maintaining their independence while caring for others. In a world increasingly disconnected from natural rhythms and wild spaces, Artemis provides both challenge and inspiration to remember our place within the larger web of life. I hope this video has been helpful. Thanks for watching, and have a very witchy day.